Is it just me, or has this cable back here been bothering you guys too? I see it in every single one of my videos, and I just haven't bothered to fix it until now. So we're gonna take care of that today. I don't know, that's maybe a little bit better. We'll go with it. Today we are talking about how to find a real estate mentor. I cannot tell you how many times on any of my videos I'll get comments down in the comment section and people are saying, Bryce, will you be my mentor? People for some reason seem to think that as soon as you find a mentor, they'll just snatch you up, drag you along, and they'll just force you to build this multi-million-dollar business, whether that's just a different business, whether that's in real estate, whatever it may be. But I promise you, it's not the get-rich-quick scheme that a lot of people think it is. It's almost like buying a gym membership and then hoping magically that you'll get fit and you'll get in shape without actually going to the gym and doing the work. All too often, I see people sit around waiting for a mentor before they even try to get started themselves. People are so worried to get moving. They're so worried that if they make one tiny little mistake, that it'll be so irreversible, so detrimental to their progress and their growth that it will put them out of the business entirely. And that is not at all the case. I can tell you that finding a real estate mentor has been one of the biggest factors that's contributed to where we're at right now. And so that's exactly why I highly recommend that you go and find a mentor for yourself as well. Having somebody to lean on or to learn from, to emulate, especially when I have questions, it makes it so much less scary to go and do these things that you've never done before. If I didn't have a mentor, if I didn't have somebody holding my hand and kind of helping me walk through this process, I can guarantee you that there is no way that I would be where I'm at today in my real estate business without them. Now, of course, go ahead and learn all the information that you can, and that's the goal of this channel, is to help teach you and show you some of the things that I've learned throughout my real estate journey. But I still recommend that you go and get somebody that is close to you, that you can call up anytime with questions, because I'm another person on the other side of the internet, and as much as I can try and do that, it just isn't exactly the same. So today we're walking through the various steps that you need to do to find yourself a real estate mentor. And if you stick until the very end, I'm actually gonna share how I bumped into my mentor and what we've been able to achieve with him that we wouldn't have been able to achieve any other way. Also, if you're new here to the channel, I'm Bryce. I talk about everything from passive income to real estate investing and business. And so if you like videos like that, please be sure to subscribe down below and also give us a thumbs up so that the YouTube gods can bless us with views. Step number one, please do not walk up to somebody and say, will you be my mentor? Out of all the different mentors or people in my life that I've had that I consider to be mentors, I have a very consistent pattern that I've noticed, and that is that I have not walked up to any of them point blank and said, hi, will you be my mentor? I mean, we're not in kindergarten anymore. It's not like you can walk up to somebody and say, hi, do you want to be my friend? I mean, I guess that would be nice if that's how it worked, but that's not how it works. And so please don't do that, because you'll definitely scare somebody off, which is funny to me because people will still do that in the comment section below. Don't just go up to somebody and ask, will you mentor me? First off, I know nothing about you. I don't know your skill level or anything like that, but I can guess that if you are walking up to somebody and just asking them point blank to be your mentor, it's very likely that you just kind of infer that there's no skill or previous knowledge there whatsoever. It also doesn't help me gauge how motivated or passionate you are with the subject. Why would I take my time that is a very valuable resource to me and invest it into somebody who may not be fully committed? I mean, who knows? 2 weeks from now, you may be completely done with real estate and you might be trying to start a drop shipping store. You know, I don't know, but you don't want to waste somebody's time. So do not walk up to them and ask them to be your mentor. If I'm going to take the time to mentor somebody, I want to know that they have at least a basic level of intelligence, that they're competent enough that they can go to Google and ask Google at least the basic questions so that they're not calling me for every teeny tiny little thing. I want to mentor somebody who has the drive and the self-initiative to go and try things, and then when they get stuck, that's when they lean on you. Being ignorant is not a bad thing, even though it kind of has a negative connotation in our language, but not having knowledge in something is not a bad thing. So even if you aren't very knowledgeable, that's okay, and it's still okay to find a mentor. If you bring nothing else to the table, at least bring your excitement, and the knowledge will come after the fact. If I see somebody who's pumped up, who is very dedicated, motivated, and willing to do this, then 100%, absolutely, I would love to mentor them. Step number 2 is to evaluate what you want. Really, truly break down what you want and the why. Do you want to have 30 rental properties? Do you want to do 5 flips this year? And what's the reasoning behind it? Do you want to gain financial independence? Do you just want a little extra side income? Really, truly hone down, write down, and narrow down what you want to achieve and the why behind it. Then once you have that written down and you have laser focused in on what you really truly want to achieve, that's when you go and start to evaluate mentors. The reason for that is because you want to find somebody who has 10 times, and I'm not exaggerating, 10 times what you want. If you want to be a millionaire, you want to go find someone who has $10 million. If you want to own 30 rental properties, then you need to find somebody who has 300 rental properties. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't plan on replacing your income with rental properties. You just want 2 or 3 and just have a little extra side income, help pay for Christmas gifts, or the different things that come up in life. Let's say you want 3 rental properties and you have a friend who has 3 rental properties. Should you go up to them and ask them for advice? Absolutely, 100% of course you should, because they still have what you want. But the reason that you want to find a mentor who has 30 rentals is because now they have done this enough to make it a step-by-step repeatable process. You don't want somebody who just does this as a hobby. You want somebody who does this as a business and is very serious about it. And if they have 30 rental properties, I can guarantee you that they can get you to your 3 very quickly. Step number 3 is something that we've kind of already talked about, but you have to bring something to the table. Most people, if you find a good mentor, they're honest, good, genuine people that they really do just want to help you, but you still have to bring something to the table. There has to be some sort of incentive for them. If you don't have a lot of money, that's okay. It doesn't have to be monetary that you bring to them. Does that help? Sure. If you want to partner with them and show them that you're truly interested in doing this, and say maybe you bring part of the money to the table, they bring part of the money to the table, then great, that helps. But it doesn't have to be money. If you don't have money, bring some knowledge. And if you don't have the knowledge already, then 100% bring your excitement. Tell them that you'll invest your time. Tell them that if they've got a project, you don't care. You just want to shadow them. You want to go and learn from them. So say, look, I don't have a lot of free time, but I'm devoting this entire Saturday to you. I'll come work on your project. I just want to learn. I will devote 100% of this to you because that's really how serious I am about doing this business. Step number 4 is to just get started. We already talked about this, but do not sit on your couch waiting for somebody to find you, because that's never going to happen. So many people I see, they want to get started in real estate and then they just say, you know what, I can't find any deals, and they've put in about 5 minutes of work scrolling through the listings on Zillow, and then they call it quits. We're to the point where realtors call us and we have to turn deals down because we either don't have the time or the funds to keep growing. And that's a good spot to be in. So go out there and get started. If you have not already been on BiggerPockets, then definitely check that out. It's an awesome resource on getting started on real estate investing, aside from this YouTube channel, of course. Find local investors in your area on Instagram or other social media. You'll be amazed at what you can find when you put in the hashtag real estate investing or house flip. You'll be amazed how many people you find in your local area that are posting on social media and they're in your own backyard. When you do find somebody, invite them to lunch or have them go out to coffee with you and just pick their brain for 30 minutes. You'll be amazed at what you can learn and what opportunities will open when you do that. Maybe you're driving down the street and you see those giant 40-yard dumpsters sitting in the front yard. pull over, stop, get out of your car, and walk in the house and just talk to whoever's running the show. See what they're doing, see if you can pick their brain, see if you can take some of their time, see if you can just shadow them and see, look, I don't have much to offer, but I'm interested in learning this. I'd love to learn from you. People love that. They eat that up. When you say, look, you've got a piece of knowledge that I want, can I learn from you? People love that. Go to some of your local real estate meetups. I live in a pretty small town, but even we have a real estate meetup. So if you live anywhere, I can guarantee you that there's a real estate meetup. And if there's not, go onto BiggerPockets and post a meetup. I can guarantee you that there are people in your area, even if you don't have one, that are already interested in learning more. And so you can be the start of that and grow this network of investors. So here's an example of getting started. When I was 9 years old, I had this huge interest in computers, but I didn't just say, I like computers and threw my hands up in the air because I didn't know anything. I started playing with them. I started tinkering with them. I started breaking them with the intent of learning how I could fix them. Naturally, because computers were part of my interest, it just came up in my everyday conversation. Naturally, people started to notice that I liked computers, and as a little 9-year-old kid, they were really impressed that I was able to fix things that even adults couldn't fix. One day, completely out of the blue, one of my parents' family friends, they came over and they gave me their old computer. And it was awesome. Of course, it was old. It wasn't worth a lot of money, but they didn't need it anymore. And I was in heaven. Somebody just gave me a computer that I could play with and mess around with. Now, real estate is no different. If you're sitting on your couch doing nothing, these opportunities are not going to open to you. But if you're calling people, if you're looking around, if you're checking on social media, going to local meetups, things are going to happen and these doors and opportunities will open for you. Like I said, as you're working, as you're interacting with people, doors will open. And that's exactly what happened to me when I met my mentor. So I actually met my mentor at a local real estate meetup like I just talked about. And it's interesting because he wasn't like giving off this impression that he could be a mentor. He wasn't blabbing about how many rentals he had or all the business that he had done or his net worth. He came into this local real estate meetup and he was an inspector. It was just a room of about 20 or 30 people that were interested in real estate investing. And then every week they would bring in a different person to talk. And so this guy, he came in as an inspector, and we could pick his brain on things that we should look for. And he just, brought up some of like the common things that he sees whenever he goes out to inspect a house. So after the meeting, there was something that wasn't really addressed. I still had a question about something. And so I went up to him after the meeting, talked to him and said, hey, what would you do in this specific situation? Now he said, this is what I would do. He answered my question. And then he actually gave me his card and he said, if you have any other questions, give me a call. I'm happy to help. So when it came time to purchase our very first rental property, which I've talked about in some other videos, I'll link one right up here, I needed a property inspector. And so guess who I called? I called this friend of mine who I really did consider a friend at this point and said, hey, will you come and inspect this property? So he came out. As he was inspecting the property, I feel like he was extra conscious to show me some things that most home buyers wouldn't really care about because, of course, I'm an investor. And so he knows that at this point, I'm looking to make money and I'm not moving into this house to live. After the inspection was done, we still hadn't really talked about a whole lot. I paid him and off he went. And so now at this point, I was kind of left with our first property and I didn't really know what I was doing. So it took a little while to get some tenants found and put in that first unit. And it was like in the January timeframe. And so it was pretty cold. It was winter time and we were having a hard time finding tenants. So in the back of my mind, I said, hey, I know this guy and I know he has some rental properties. I wonder if he has any advice on why we're not getting tenants. So I call him up and he says, yep, I've ran into that before. The biggest issue is that you're trying to find somebody over the holidays. It's cold, it's winter time. People don't want to move. They don't want to move in the snow. They don't want to move when their kids are currently halfway through school. It's just the time of year. And so then he told me, this is why I do odd lease times. He said, I will typically make sure that my leases end in April to September so that it's still warm months. People are wrapping up with school or just getting started with school. And so they have the whole entire summer to move rather than having a lease and in January. This was awesome. It was such good advice. We eventually found a renter, and now we do that with all of our tenants. We make sure that they have leases that end in the warm months of the year. Now, after talking to him on the phone, I casually asked him, oh, so how many rentals do you have? And he told me, and I was shocked, he said that he had 70 doors of rental real estate. At that point, I knew that this guy was experienced. I knew that he was the person that I wanted to talk to learn more and to grow. Now, through meeting him, he's actually passed us additional deals. He said, look, this is a property that I'm just kind of too busy with. I can't really handle it right now, but it would be a good flip. And at that point, we hadn't done any flips yet. And so he said, look, if this guy has 70 rentals, and at that point, he had done dozens of house flips. He said, if this is a good one, I knew that we could make money on it. And so he kind of held our hand. He carried us through this process to doing our very first house flip. As I'm sitting here in front of you recording this, we've got 12 doors of rental real estate, and we're doing 3 house flips and currently in the process of acquiring more. Now, this is only 1 year after meeting our mentor. I can honestly, truly guarantee you that we would not be where we're at right now if it wasn't without his help and without finding somebody. So that is the exact reason why I highly, highly recommend that you find a real estate mentor. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.